Waka chaka chaka, ooh, if you love chocolate like I love chocolate, this is a show for you. I'm gonna bake up some delectable vegan cupcakes.
Sweet cocoa cupcakes.
4-ingredient chocolate chip cookies.
Oats, chips, bananas, raisins.
And a quick-to-make chocolate cake that's gonna satisfy your cravings for a rich, chocolatey dessert.
Quick, I gotta have some cake.
And they're all deliciously dairy-free. So join me right here on Jazzy Vegetarian.
Jazzy, you're gonna be healthy with the Jazzy Vegetarian. Jazzy, so snazzy. We're gonna cook something healthy and light. Jazzy, so snazzy.
So join me in the kitchen right now.
We're gonna cook something healthy and light. That's right.
Got a craving for chocolate? You've come to the right place. On today's show, I'm going to bake my amazing sweet cocoa cupcakes, topped with a tempting, rich chocolate frosting. And then up next, quick chocolate coconut cake, preps in a flash and tastes truly decadent. And if you need a cookie in a hurry, my 4-ingredient chocolate chip cookies make the perfect choice for an easy fix. As a matter of fact, they're truly chocolicious. So stay tuned. Craving chocolate? Well, we're going to be doing some of my very favorite quick and easy chocolate recipes on today's show. A quick cake, some quick cookies, some quick cupcakes, some quick frosting. So you're asking, why do we have cherries? Well, you know, cherries really enhance the taste of chocolate. And in fact, they're really going to enhance the taste of my quick chocolate coconut cake that's coming up a little bit later. I'm getting ahead of myself. But we've got to get these cherries going because even though this only has 3 ingredients, it does have to simmer for a while. This is a great recipe from our fabulous sous chef, Tara. You're going to see how delicious it is with our chocolate cake. So we're going to start over about a medium heat. And I have 4 cups of pitted cherries. We're using frozen cherries today. And I've got a half a cup of apple cider. And then a little bit of sugar. You got to have a little bit of sugar with the cherries. You've got 6 tablespoons of vegan white sugar. I think you could do this with sucanat or brown sugar if you wanted to. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. Basically, what we're going to do is bring this to a boil over medium-high heat, and then we're going to decrease the heat to low and simmer it for about 40 to 45 minutes until the cherries have begun to break down. And then we're going to bring it up for about 10 minutes until it gets nice and thick. But I'll show you that ending part later. So let's just get it going here. Let's get to our cupcake frosting. Ooh, yeah. Quick and easy, only 4 ingredients. And we're starting off with my old standby. It's a half a block, about 8 ounces of firm, regular tofu, which I have drained thoroughly. And I'm going to plop that right into my blender. And I have 2 tablespoons of vegan powdered sugar or vegan confectioner's sugar. They're both basically the same thing. And then I have 1/3 of a cup of vegan chocolate chips. And these are 85% cacao that I'm using today. But use whatever you like. And then over here on the stove, I have 1/3 of a cup of non-dairy milk that I've brought up just to a simmer. You don't want it to boil, but you do want it to be nice and hot because that's what's going to melt these chips and make this into a very creamy frosting. So pour that right over there and blend. That looks pretty good. It is going to be a little bit soft at this point. What we're going to do is we're going to put it into the refrigerator for at least 2 hours so it firms up so we can use it as frosting for our cupcakes. Cupcakes? Oh yeah, it's my sweet cocoa cupcakes coming up next, so stay tuned. That smells good. Ooh, this is going to be fantastic. But we've got to get to our cupcakes. You're going to be surprised as to what I use for the fat in this recipe and also for the milk. We are doing a vegan buttermilk. We're going to start off with some freshly squeezed lemon. Excellent. And what I have is ½ cup of non-dairy milk. And what I'm going to add to it is 1½ teaspoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice. So just another half teaspoon of that fresh lemon juice. Oh yeah. Stir it a little bit. We're going to let this set while we put our dry ingredients together. It already has begun to thicken up, just like buttermilk. Works really well in any kind of baked goods recipe. When you need buttermilk and you need it to be vegan, that's a quick fix. Now, we've got to use some fat in this recipe. So what I'm going to use, believe it or not, is avocado. Avocado, you say? Well, just think about it. Avocado is nice and smooth and creamy. And I'm going to mix it together with some water, which is actually going to bring it to the same consistency that a beaten up egg would be. So the avocado is going to take the place of the egg to help bind this recipe together and also give it some great moisture. So what I'm going to do is cut an avocado. I'm going to get a half of a cup of peeled, seeded, and chopped avocado. Chop it pretty small. We do want to get somewhat of an even measurement on this. So we're just going to place this half cup of chopped avocado right into our blender. And then we're adding half a cup of water. This is taking the place of our oil and our egg in the recipe. Let her rip. Oh yeah, that's perfect. It is the consistency of beaten egg whites, but remember, it's our avocado and water, taking the place of our egg and our oil in this recipe. So we're just going to set this aside and let's get our dry ingredients together. What we're using is 1 cup plus 3 tablespoons of whole wheat flour. Do want to level that off there. 3 tablespoons, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, and we need cocoa, a 1/4 cup plus 1.5 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder. Make sure to get a good quality dark cocoa powder. And we're going to add 2/3 of a cup of sugar. I've got some vegan white sugar here today. You could use brown sugar, sucanat. You can really use any kind of dry sweetener that you want in these sweet cocoa cupcakes. And that's it. All we have to do is whisk it together. No need to sift. That looks fantastic. We're going to add our vegan buttermilk, curdled really beautifully. And then we're going to add our avocado mixture, which is taking place of our beaten egg. And then we have another half cup of water. Stir that all together. That's perfect. One more little thing is some vanilla. And just stir that right in. What I have is 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now what we have done is we have lined out a 6-cup standard muffin tin with unbleached paper liners. And you're just going to put the batter right in there. I like to use these little cookie scoops for this. And boy, it smells so good. Well, I'm going to put this into a 375-degree preheated oven, and we're going to let them bake for 35 minutes until they're set and a toothpick inserted in the center of the cupcake comes out clean. We need some whipped cream to enhance our quick chocolate coconut cake. Yes, we're building up to that chocolate coconut cake, so stay tuned. I'm crazy for chocolate coconut cake, and it's quick and easy and fast and fun. We're still not getting to the cake. I've got to show you another really easy recipe. We're going to be making my cashew tofu cream, and we're going to pour in 1.5 cups of whole raw soaked cashews. We've soaked them in some water, about 1.5 cups of water, in the refrigerator for about 2 hours. And then I drained and rinsed them under cold running water. And then I'm adding 3/4 of a block, about 10 to 12 ounces of firm regular tofu, which I've just drained over a colander for about a half hour. We're just going to break that right into here. And we need a little bit of sweet for our cashew tofu cream. 5 tablespoons of maple syrup. And then we're going to add water a little bit at a time. And we're going to start off with 3 tablespoons of water. All right, it's getting nice and thick, and we do need another 5 tablespoons of our spring water. Just add a little bit at a time. I think that is perfect. Let's check it out. That is a beautiful whipped cream consistency. I'm going to get this into the refrigerator so it firms up just a little bit. This is going to be just perfect with my quick chocolate coconut cake. I can't believe it. I bet you can't believe it. That's what's coming up next, so stay tuned. Chocolate coconut quick cake. One afternoon I wanted cake, but I wanted it quick, so I came up with this quick chocolate coconut cake recipe. And it really is quick. It's very, very easy, and it's the perfect snack cake to serve anytime. But the cool thing about this cake is we're going to add some frosting to it, which is also quick. We're going to add a little whipped topping to it, and you can also add the cherries, so it can serve to be anything from a snack cake right on up to a beautiful dessert to end an elegant company meal. And what we're going to begin with is 2 cups of whole wheat flour. And I love using the whole wheat flour because it still has some great nutritional value to it. So there's 2. And then I'm adding 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. The baking soda is going to react to a very special ingredient that I'm going to add to this that makes it that we don't have to use any eggs. As a matter of fact, the basis of this recipe is a very old recipe. Think about this. 70 years ago, eggs were not as readily available as they are today. You didn't just have eggs at the supermarket. So women had to be very inventive. Women did a lot of baking without eggs. So this little trick that I'm going to show you today is actually one that was invented during the Second World War when eggs were not that readily available. Then we're going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of sea salt. Just whisk that all together. I want to get that baking soda really incorporated into our dry ingredients. And what I have is 1/2 cup of good quality unsweetened cocoa powder. Toss that right in there. And we're going to whisk each ingredient as we add it, so everything gets incorporated, and that's just perfect. Now we need some sweet with our chocolate coconut quick cake today. So I've got 1 cup of dark brown sugar. I love the flavor of the dark brown sugar. That adds that nice molasses undertone to this cake. But if you don't like dark brown sugar, you can use light brown sugar. You could also use white sugar, just as long as it's vegan. What I love to add to cakes is raw, unsweetened, shredded, dried coconut. As the cake cooks, the coconut will take on moisture and it will expand and will help to hold the cake together. And I've got 1/2 cup of raw, unsweetened, shredded, dried coconut. And I'm just going to change over to my spoon at this point and incorporate that all in there. Now we're going to add our wet ingredients. And what we have here today is 1 1/3 cups plus 3 tablespoons of non-dairy milk, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and then 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Oh yeah, and that's going to react with that baking soda, and that's going to help this cake to puff up without using eggs. Great tip, right? This is a very, very thick batter. But you see as I'm stirring that, you see how that's puffing up? We see those little air bubbles in there? That's that apple cider vinegar that's reacting with that baking soda and making the cake rise. So I'm pouring this into a 9-inch round cake pan that we've liberally coated with a little bit of vegan margarine. Now, since this is such a thick batter, what you do want to do is just smooth the top of the cake, just like that. That is fantastic. Oh yeah. And I'm going to put this into a 375-degree oven, and we're going to bake this for about 25 to 30 minutes or until a toothpick inserted in the center of the cake comes out clean. And then I have a little surprise for you as to how we're going to do our really quick 1-ingredient frosting. But up next, My 4-ingredient chocolate chip cookies come together in a flash, so stay tuned. This is my 4-ingredient chocolate chip oatmeal cookie. Oh yeah, and it's only 4 ingredients. And the cool thing about it is it doesn't have any oil in it, and it doesn't have any flour in it. As a matter of fact, it's all just very natural ingredients, and it comes out to be a fantastic cookie that you and your family are really going to love. The great thing about these cookies is you can serve them for dessert, you can serve them for a snack, you can also serve them for breakfast. So what could be a better cookie? And I'm starting off with 2 large, ripe bananas. Doesn't have to be exact with this recipe. This is really a great one you can get the kids involved with as well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to mash these bananas. And you do have to have ripe bananas. Since the only sugar in our recipe is coming from our chocolate chips, you want to make sure that the bananas are really ripe and really sweet. And also it makes it easier to mash them and get them very, very creamy, like I'm doing. So the bananas are standing in for our butter. As these cookies bake, you're going to see little pieces of the bananas sticking out, almost like butter would out of a pie crust. Now, 1 1/4 cups of rolled oats. We're just going to incorporate those together. Now, at this point, you could add a little bit of maple syrup, you could add currants, you could add dates, you could add nuts, you could add walnuts, you could add seeds, anything you want. But I'm going to add 1/3 cup of raisins, and I do like to use the dark raisins for this because what I'm doing is adding some nice sweet to this, and the raisins I think look really nice with the dark chocolate chips. After all, everything is chocolatey today, so I'm going to add 1/3 cup of chocolate chips. You could use any kind of vegan chocolate chips that you like. And we're just going to mix them all together. So easy. Think about rolled oats. As they combine with the moisture in the bananas and as they bake, the rolled oats start to expand a little bit, and that's what helps to keep the chocolate chip cookies together without using any eggs. Very easy. I'm going to get about 16 to 18 little cookies out of this today. Take a big heaping tablespoonful and just lay it out on your cookie sheet. And we've lined our cookie sheet with unbleached parchment paper. There's the first 4. What you want to do is just pat them down. You're just going to form them into a very cookie-licious shape.
Oh yeah, 4-ingredient cookies, oats, bananas, raisins. Now we got some chocolate chips too.
Just get the last bit out. This is a healthy way to eat cookies, to enjoy cookies. And I find that the more that I make home-baked cookies like this, when you buy cookies in the grocery store that have a lot of processed ingredients, you start tasting those processed ingredients and you say, gee, I'd really rather have those 4-ingredient chocolate chip oatmeal cookies that Laura made on the show last week. So do give this a try. All righty. I'm going to pop them into a 375-degree preheated oven, and we're going to bake them for about 17 to 20 minutes until the outer rim is just getting nice and golden brown and they are somewhat firm to the touch. Then you're going to let them cool for about 10 to 15 minutes because they're going to be very soft when you take them out of the oven. And then you're going to transfer them to a wire rack. You can keep them in the refrigerator in a tightly covered container up to 3 days, but they don't usually last more than 3 minutes in my house. So up next, we're going to do some frosting with only 1 ingredient on our chocolate coconut quick cake. Oh yeah, so stay tuned. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, quick chocolate coconut cake just out of the oven, and we've got a very quick frosting for it. And this cake is very, very hot, and I'm just pouring about 3/4 cup of 55% cacao chocolate chips over the top of this hot cake, and you see them starting to melt. And what we're going to do is we're going to pop this back in the oven, let these melt completely, and then spread them over the top of the cake, and that's going to make an instant frosting. Let me just pop that back in the oven. Ooh, yeah. 20-30 seconds in the oven once you put those chips on, and look, perfectly melted right over the top of that cake. Couldn't be easier. Nice little swirl on the top. Whatever pattern you're making that is how it's going to harden up. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this cool for 20 up to 40 minutes. Then we're going to take it out of the cake pan and we're going to serve it drizzled with these fantastic cherries. So we've been simmering these for about 45 minutes. Now I'm going to turn it up. I'm going to let them cook down for about 10 minutes on a higher heat until they get nice and thick. And we're going to serve these beautiful cherries with our cashew tofu cream dripped over this beautiful chocolate coconut quick cake. Are you getting hungry yet? I'm the lucky person that gets to taste all of these chocolate confections. But before we do, let's frost our cupcakes. Up next. Look how beautifully they rose. They're all moist. You've got to cool them for about an hour before you frost them. And I have that fabulous frosting that I made earlier in the show and put it into a piping bag. You know how I love to pipe that frosting right on top. Ooh, that is so pretty.
Pipe that frosting on the cupcakes.
This recipe is in my cookbook.
Swirl it around, swirl it around, swirl it around and around.
Because my cupcakes actually are just a little warm here today, what you want to do is just put them in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes or so to let them firm up before you serve them. So I'm going to plate them up and I get to taste it. So stay tuned for that. Isn't this absolutely chocolicious? It's my chocolate desserts. Well, they look good enough to eat. I love this vegan chocolate coconut quick cake. Doesn't that look absolutely beautiful? And we have cherry sauce over the top and my cashew tofu cream on the side. So what you want to do is just take a little bit of that cashew cream, take a little cherry, and then just get a nice piece of that beautiful cake. Oh, that looks just gorgeous. Wow, that's amazing. The cake is nice and moist. You know how quick that was to make. And in fact, if you just want to have the cake plain with a little powdered sugar on it, you can do that, or just have it with a chocolate frosting on top of it. That's good too. But for an elegant dessert, plated up like this, it's really, really good. I have to have one more bite. That is just absolutely spectacular. You've got to try it. Now, something really quick and easy, my 4-ingredient chocolate chip cookies. Look how cute these are. I got to do a taste test. Not too sweet, crispy on the outside, nice and moist on the inside, a little chocolatey, a little bit of raisins, that little bit of oatmeal with a banana undertone. Really, really good. Last but not least, my sweet cocoa cupcakes with rich chocolate frosting. And they are rich and chocolatey. Take a look at that. A little piece came off the side. I piped the frosting on the top, but you can certainly just use a spatula and spread it over the top. I'm going to take a big bite. Yes, here we go. Oh my gosh. That avocado in there kept that cupcake so moist and so creamy, and that vegan buttermilk really gave a nice taste to these cupcakes. That is fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today for some real chocolicious fun. The next time you get a craving for chocolate, I hope you'll look to the recipes on today's show. So until next time, be happy, be healthy, and be well from the Jazzy Vegetarian.
Visit our website at jazzyvegetarian.com to connect with Laura, see video clips, find your favorite recipes, and more. Follow Laura on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. Laura Theodore's Vegan Ease includes all of the recipes featured this season and is available for $26.95. The cookbook is enhanced with over 200 beautiful full-color photos and features complete menu plans, shopping lists, and more than 130 recipes. For information or to order, visit jazzyvegetarian.com.
change.